Welcome to World News. This is Shekinah bringing you the latest world updates across the globe. Let's get started. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was received in Brunei Darussalam on Tuesday, marking the first ever bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister. As a special gesture, he was welcomed by the Crown Prince Haji Al Muhaddati Bilha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a two-nation visit to Brunei and Singapore from September 3 to 5. Prime Minister Modi's visit to Brunei will be the first bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to the Southeast Asian nation. The visit underscores a milestone in the 40-year diplomatic relationship between India and Brunei. The Prime Minister visit to Brunei also highlights India's strategic importance of the Act East policy in the broader Indo-Pacific region. Meanwhile, the members of the Indian diaspora are eagerly waiting to give a warm welcome to Prime Minister Modi. The visit of Prime Minister Modi to Brunei highlights the robust relationship between the two nations, particularly in trade, defense and cultural exchanges. In terms of economic relations, India-Brunei bilateral trade in 2023 stood at USD 195.2 million. After concluding his visit to Brunei, Prime Minister Modi will travel to Singapore from September 4 to 5. He will be visiting Singapore at the invitation of his Singaporean counterpart, Lawrence Wong.
बायलैटरल विजिट हो रही है किसी इंडियन प्राइम मिनिस्टर की। कल मोदी जी खुद यहाँ आ रहे हैं, किस तरह से आप लोग देख रहे हैं?
हम देख रहे हैं कि हमारे जो प्रधान सेवक हैं हमारे कंट्री के, वो अपने कम्युनिटी के लिए ही काम कर रहे हैं। हम जो समुदाय यहाँ इंडियन रहते हैं उनके लिए आ रहे हैं। ये उनमें ब्रुनाई के पॉपुलेशन के लिए और हमारे लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। और हमारी समुदाय, इंडियन समुदाय का खास करके हर फील्ड के अंदर बहुत अच्छी कंट्रीब्यूशन दी हुई है। ऐसे सुल्तान को हमारा शत शत प्रणाम है। और हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर जो हमारे लिए आ रहे हैं उसका तो हम तहे दिल से शुक्रगुजार है। और हम कहते हैं अतिथि देवो भव, हम सेवा में लगे हुए हैं। हमारे से जो भी सेवा होगी हमारे कंट्री के प्रधानमंत्री के लिए हम हाजिर हैं और हमेशा रहेंगे।
बायलैटरल विजिट पहली बार हो रही है, यहाँ पर जो इंडियन कम्युनिटी है जिसको करीब 15,000 है, किस तरह से देख रही है इस विजिट को, क्या implications हैं?
कम्युनिटी में तो काफ़ी पहले उत्साह है, खुशी है और माहौल बन चुका है कि प्रधानमंत्री आ रहे हैं, तो उससे कम्युनिटी एकजुट होके प्रिपरेशंस में लगी है। लोगों ने अपना दिल दिया है इस बात को कि पहली बार प्रधानमंत्री ब्रुनाई में आ रहे हैं। और एक हमें इस विजिट से ये है कि ब्रुनाई और इंडिया के जो रिलेशंस है वो और फर्दर स्ट्रॉन्गर होंगे, जैसे 40 साल स्ट्रॉन्ग हुए और ज़्यादा फर्दर स्ट्रॉन्ग होंगे। और देखा जाए तो जहाँ भी प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी गए हैं वहाँ हमेशा कुछ न कुछ अच्छा करके आए हैं और अपनी समुदाय के लिए कुछ कहते हैं ना 200% देते हैं हमेशा को। तो हमें इस विजिट से तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें देखने को मिलेंगी, जैसे स्पेशली हिज मैजेस्टी द सुल्तान।
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu remained defiant among mounting international and domestic pressure to secure a ceasefire agreement to release Israeli hostages in Gaza. US President Joe Biden said on Monday he was close to presenting a final proposal for a deal to release hostages held by Hamas in Gaza, but said he did not think Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was doing enough to secure such an agreement.
I'm heading to a national security meeting right now, and then going to Pittsburgh, and so checking on following up on what's happening in Israel, and then I'll be off to Pittsburgh.
Are you planning to present a final hostage deal to both sides this week?
We're very close to that.
What makes you think that this deal will be successful in a way that the other deals were not?
Hope springs eternal.
Mr. President, do you think it's time for Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more on this issue? Do you think he's doing enough?
No.
Mr. President, what is your reaction to the demonstrations across Israel? What is your reaction to the demonstrations?
I'm going to get the detail when I walk in, and I'll talk to you after that, okay?
Is this the last best chance for a deal, Mr. President?
You have a message for the hostages' family, sir.
Yes, I've spoken to the American hostage. I spoke to his mom and dad, and we're not giving up. We're going to continue to push as hard as we can. Thank you.
The end to the Israel-Hamas war seems far from sight as the conflict moved to day 332 on September 2. The Israel Defense Forces continues to pound Gaza amid its retaliation to free the Israeli hostages. Meanwhile, a gruesome incident from Gaza's Rafah has come to the fore as 6 Israeli hostages were killed by the Hamas. IDF informed that bodies of hostages abducted alive by Hamas on October 7 were recovered from a tunnel in southern Gaza overnight. As per Israel Health Ministry, hostages were murdered between 48 and 72 hours before their autopsy, meaning between August 29 to 30. Now, world leaders have expressed shock over the killing of abductees and offered condolences to loved ones of the deceased. Leaders have also called for the release of hostages and an agreement from all parties on a ceasefire deal. US President Biden said that he was devastated and outraged by the killing of Israeli hostages. France President Macron expressed shock and indignation and called for an immediate ceasefire and release of all hostages. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer also expressed grief over the killing of the hostages. As per the Times of Israel report, 97 of the 251 hostages taken captive by Hamas on October 7 now remain in Gaza. Hamas released 105 civilians during a week-long truce in late November and 4 hostages were released before that. Israeli forces surrounded a house in Hebron and killed a Palestinian suspected of carrying out a shooting in Edna Turkmia Junction. 3 Israeli police officers were killed on September 1 when their vehicle came under fire at the junction near Hebron. Witnesses reported an exchange of fire between the soldiers and the suspect inside the building. After more than an hour of shooting, Israeli soldiers entered the building and carried out the body of the suspected Palestinian. Hundreds of Israeli troops have been conducting raids across the West Bank targeting Iranian-backed Islamist militants. International hotel chains are playing a vital role in making the hospitality sector stronger and more comfortable for tourists in Jammu and Kashmir. For the last few years, several branded hotels in the country also set up their businesses in the valley. But despite that, high-end tourists from different countries are demanding the setup of international hotel chains in the valley to provide satisfactory services. The arrival of prestigious international hotel brands, including Golden Tulip, has significantly enhanced the hospitality sector. Notably, Kashmir is considered one of the most famous tourist destinations in the world due to its natural and mesmerizing beauty. After new developments in the sector, tourists will feel more comfortable and tourism industry will reach new
बहुत ही बड़ा स्टेप है कि अब इंटरनेशनल चेंज जो है वो जम्मू कश्मीर में आना पसंद करती है, आना चाहती है और काफ़ी अग्रेसिवली कोशिश कर रही है यहाँ आए। ये इसलिए भी ज़रूरी है क्योंकि जो हमने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट की है अपनी प्रॉपर्टी की, ये एक इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड से जो आपका ग्लोबल ट्रैवलर है वो कुछ एक्सपेक्टेशंस लेके ही कश्मीर वैली में आता है या पूरे इंडिया में आता है कि उसके एक ब्रांड स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं, ग्लोबल स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं रहने के, सेफ्टी के, हाइजीन के, कंफर्ट के, वो उसको मिले। जब वो कश्मीर आते हैं तो वो स्टैंडर्ड्स पहले कहीं लैकिंग हुआ करते थे, बट पिछले कुछ साल में अगर आप देखेंगे काफ़ी सारे इंटरनेशनल ब्रांड्स ने यहाँ एंट्री की है और गोल्डन ट्यूलिप भी उन्हीं में से एक है। ये लूर होटल्स का पार्ट है, 1400 होटल इनके 170 होटल इनके ग्लोबली हैं, 1400 रूम्स हैं गोल्डन ट्यूलिप नाम से और काफ़ी बड़ी कवरेज है, काफ़ी बड़ी फैमिली का एक हिस्सा बना है।
Presence in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, the Golden Tulip, it opens today, and you know the best part, the synonymous between the name Golden Tulip and the land of tulips, as Kashmir is synonymous with, and the basic purpose of getting international brand out here was to attract more international tourism from France and across the Europe and Americas, and it's been a great effort on the part of the government in exploring more visas and giving us opportunities to attract tourism from outside the country, and with the presence that the government is giving to this land today in Jammu and Kashmir, we expect a lot of international tourism to boost.
देखिए, कश्मीर का जहाँ तक सवाल है, मेहमान नवाजी आपने कही तो अपनी मशहूर है ही पहले से हॉस्पिटैलिटी में, इसकी मिसाल अपनी है जहाँ कश्मीर का नाम है। लेकिन अगर हम देखेंगे जो टूरिज़्म इन जनरल ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, टूरिज़्म जो है वो बहुत एक इंडस्ट्री तो है ही है, बहुत मैनी फोल्ड से बढ़ चुकी है।
Pope Francis has arrived in Jakarta, Indonesia for the 4-day visit, the first leg of his tour across Asia Pacific. He will meet with Indonesian President Joko Widodo on Wednesday. Around 9,000 police officers and soldiers have been deployed to ensure the safety and security of his 4-day trip to the capital, Jakarta. This visit is a monumental event as the Pope will cover 32,814 kilometers during his journey, making it the longest and most challenging trip of his pontificate. Despite his advanced age and health challenges, including the use of a wheelchair and the loss of part of a lung, Pope Francis remains committed to his mission of fostering peace and interfaith dialogue. During his lifetime in Jakarta, he will meet with outgoing President Joko Widodo, visit the symbolic tunnel of friendship that links Indonesia's main Istiqlal mosque to the Catholic cathedral, and participate in an interfaith gathering where a joint declaration will be signed. Vladimir Putin has started an official visit to Mongolia undisturbed as Ulaanbaatar ignored an arrest warrant for the Russian president. An honored guard welcomed Putin in the Mongolian capital on Tuesday as he arrived to meet the country's leader Ukana Kureshuk. Mongolia has blanked calls for the arrest of the Russian leader on the international warrant. Navy and Marine Corps from the United States and South Korea on Monday, September 2, conducted joint amphibious landing drills off the coast of the eastern city of Pohang to strengthen their alliance combat readiness. More than 40 amphibious assault vehicles, over 40 aircraft and 40 ships including South Korea's large transport ships Dokdo and Marado, as well as the US amphibious assault ship USS Boxer, were mobilized in exercise Sangyong 2024 from August 2 to September 7, the US military said. South Korea and the United States have regularly conducted the Sangyong exercise since 2012 to enhance their defensive posture on the Korean peninsula and improve naval and amphibious capabilities. The United Kingdom's Commando Force is also participating in the exercise for the second consecutive year, the military added.
Rehearsing these kinds of combined joint forcible entry operations with an amphibious landing, then follow-on operations ashore is very important because of how complex they are. The defense of the Korean Peninsula depends on our ROC and U.S. forces continuously working together, shoulder to shoulder, including during this and future Sangyong exercises. The content head of OTT platform Netflix summoned by the I&B ministry or the series IC814 The Kandahar Hijack. The head of the Netflix India, Monica Shergill, met the joint secretary of the I&B ministry on September 3. The meeting was held to discuss certain content issues in the web series based on the hijacking of IC814.
The Netflix series IC-814, the Kandahar hijack, has triggered a row on social media over the alleged incorrect identity of the hijackers. Government sources on the series said nobody has the right to play with the sentiments of the people of this nation. India's culture and civilization should always be respected. You should think before portraying something in a wrong manner. The government is taking it very seriously. Well, these are the latest world updates for today. Stay tuned to CVR English News.